Across the rebuilding zones of Hawaii in mid-2026, the landscape is defined by these flattened, ash-cleared neighborhood plots. Heavy machinery sits silently in the background, signaling the start of a physical recovery that masks a much deeper conflict. A second, bureaucratic crisis is now sweeping through these empty lots. Multi-generational families who survived the fires are losing ownership of their bare land without a single brick being laid or a physical fight being waged. Wall Street private equity firms and luxury resort developers are executing a highly coordinated land grab, utilizing the chaos of the recovery to consolidate property. These deep-pocketed entities have identified 4 specific, invisible bureaucratic traps designed to force local residents into a state of insurmountable financial distress. Understanding this crisis requires looking past the physical rubble. Modern economic warfare uses the recovery system itself as a weapon of displacement, turning the safety nets of survivors against them. The first extraction mechanism operates through the commercial banking sector, relying on a carefully timed financial cliff created by institutional lenders. This timeline illustrates the trap. In the immediate aftermath of the fires, survivors were granted a 2-year mortgage forbearance, a policy where monthly payments were paused to allow for recovery. However, as those protections expired in mid-2026, institutional banks began demanding the entire accumulated balance all at once. The paused payments stack into a massive, towering lump sum debt block. For a local family whose income streams were destroyed by the disaster, producing a $50,000 check is a mathematical impossibility. This triggers an immediate foreclosure, with the bank's demand slamming down on properties that no longer even have standing homes. Those who survive the financial cliff face a second barrier at the county planning office: the restrictive paradox of the 2026 structural safety codes. Look at the top-down outline of a typical ancestral lot. New regulations for shoreline setbacks and environmental mandates push aggressively inward from the edges. On these historically small parcels, the new zoning boundaries shrink the legally buildable area down to 0, making it illegal to rebuild the original family home without impossibly expensive architectural exemptions. This bureaucratic gridlock targets working-class locals. Meanwhile, the massive, contiguous land layouts owned by luxury corporate resorts remain untouched and fast-tracked for development. These 2 traps create a compounding vice. Displaced locals are legally obligated to pay mortgages on empty dirt that the state simultaneously forbids them from utilizing. The pressure shifts to the municipal level through a third mechanism: speculative tax warfare. This grid shows how corporate speculation alters public policy. When a developer pays an inflated cash price for a single ruined lot, local tax assessors use that transaction as a baseline for the entire neighborhood. Concentric shockwaves radiate outward, instantly raising the tax valuation of every surrounding plot based on its speculative use as a future luxury estate. This reassessment hits elderly residents on fixed incomes the hardest. As their tax bills turn red and become unpayable, they are forced into tax foreclosures over fields of debris, and their properties begin dropping off the grid to be replaced by corporate developments. Exploiting this manufactured vulnerability is a fourth, invisible force: out-of-state institutional private equity funds operating through nested shell companies. These funds utilize sophisticated, data-driven software to run algorithmic distress tracking on a massive scale. The digital funnel monitors public records for the exact moment of a zoning delay or tax delinquency. The processor instantly fires out targeted lines to families as they hit rock bottom, bombarding them with automated low-ball cash offers. Unregulated corporate capital treats this community tragedy as an optimized portfolio entry. These billion-dollar entities are mathematically guaranteed to outbid local housing authorities every time. The corporate endgame relies on time-based attrition. By dragging out the recovery, these firms intend to wear down residents until leaving the island becomes the only option for survival. Local residents are disrupting this strategy by shifting the battlefield to institutional warfare. Grassroots nonprofits and community land trusts are proactively breaking the corporate playbook by buying up distressed mortgages, by freezing active foreclosures, and establishing permanent cultural preservation zones. families are refusing fire sale contracts. Instead, they are occupying temporary structures built directly on ancestral dirt, defiantly protecting their land from acquisition. Community land trusts and on-site occupations have matched the sophistication of modern disaster capitalism. Hawaii's families are proving that ancestral history is a leverage point no corporate spreadsheet can calculate.